Hi, I'm back. I'm still writing the book. Almost done still, but still writing. So, last time I talked with you all, I talked about joining a writing group. And I think it was an amazing first session that I joined. It was last week, but I also talked about in my last video the technical parts of writing. So I felt like I had to join a writing group so that I could kind of not just see my own perspective of how this book should be written. It's a romance novel. So I also wanted to get other people's insight. And I also wanted to kind of do some research to make sure that I was creating what's typically in a romance novel without being so typical. So I think based on my first working group or writing group that I joined, I think I'm on to something. We talked about like the arc of a story. We talked about each character arc, and the book that I'm writing, Bali Blue, is told from the perspective of the female heroine and the male hero, her love interest. It's a romance novel, so got to be some love going on. Um, but they're both telling the story from their own perspective, which I thought was very appropriate because they're two different people coming from two different parts of, I want to say the world, but not necessarily the world. They're coming from two very different areas. And they're meeting in a whole nother part of the world than they actually either live in. And so I couldn't just tell the story from the perspective of Rian, the main female character who happens to represent ATL hard, and Kendrick, who is actually Hawaiian, from Waikiki. I think he's going to be from Waikiki. I might change it, but either way, bear with me. Both from the United States, but two very different parts of the United States. So I couldn't tell the story from a singular point of view. So, anyways, long story short, I had to go through some training, if you will, to make sure that I was doing the right thing. Point of view, being able to write the dialogue the way I wanted it from either one's point of view. Being able to, again, tell the story of a romance that starts kind of in a love hate baseline, or it starts in a love hate space between the two characters. But then eventually, of course, they build, grow respect for each other, start looking at each other a little differently, and then a twist. Plot twist. Anyways, I had to be able to develop that appropriately, and I'm at the end of the book. So I've been going back through, rereading, editing, getting information from my beta readers. Oh, no, oof, more to follow on beta readers in a whole nother video. But getting all that information, making sure the plot is tight. Y'all, it has to make sense. But even more than the plot, I want these characters to be so lovable. I don't want you to love them just because I want you to love them. I want you to love them because they're complex and they tell a story and they've experienced or are going through similar things that you may be going through or that I may be going through as I write them. They are complex, but I want to develop these characters so that they become a part of your collection of characters that you refer back to. So Kendrick and Rian, honey, these two are giving me the business. I'm confused. They got me confused. They got me full of anxiety. Honey, Malcolm and Marie and me. But anyways, long story short, not only did I have to tell the story to where it makes sense in the romance genre, but each character arc had to be separate and unique, but they had to come together at the right moment. So it's a whole lot that went into that. So let me tell you some of the things that I had to learn about over the last week, even though I'm at the end of this book. Background exposition. What exactly is that? It's basically giving you the background information of how the story begins. Why am I telling you this story? Why are these characters important? And remember, I said it's from two very distinct points of view. So that background exposition had to also be gathered from two different perspectives. So background exposition, inciting incidents, making sure that again, the plot isn't just me telling you a story. It's you going through the ups and the downs and the tension and the things that people do when they're getting to know each other, especially in a short amount of time. So all of that is coming through. And again, I'm learning it as I go. So you all are learning it as I go as well. However, I want to get this right. And I know there's no such thing as perfection. So I'm not trying to make it perfect. I'm just trying to make it right. I want to tell the story. Actually, the story is telling itself. I'm just kind of writing it. I'm kind of like the medium for the story. So with that, let me give you a little background on where these characters came from. I said I was going to save this for a whole nother video and kind of give you a background exposition on each character, but I think it's appropriate to tell you about it now because I want you to be excited. So Rian, freshly divorced, going through it at work, going through it at home, all the things that people experience when they're going through a divorce, the heartbreak, the heartache, having to figure out the new normal for her life, fucking up big time, especially at work. So basically she finds herself in this space where she got to go find her crown. She got to put it back on, straighten it up, and get back to doing the things that she's good at doing, like killing it at life. Right now she is not killing it and basically is in the doldrums, if you will. From Atlanta, very Southern roots. We're going to give you that ATL vibe up in here. But Kendrick, native Hawaiian. However, he has more to his story than just being native Hawaiian. He has a child. He has a past, like he's a playboy, or at least he comes off as a playboy. Great looking, handsome looking. And he's going through some things too, but they both meet in Bali, and that's all I'm gonna give you about the story. They're gonna meet in Bali, both on a mission that has nothing to do with the other. They just happen to collide, and the story actually goes from there. Now, let me just say this. Why this story? This story has been tickling the back of my mind for many years, as a matter of fact. I thought about writing it several times before, just kind of didn't know where to start, didn't know where the story actually should start. But let me just give you some background. Why this story? Why Bali? Bali, because it's a place I always wanted to go to, number one. So many people have been and told me, hey, you got to go. You love to travel. You got to go to Bali. Best beaches ever. I mean, cost of living there, you can go for basically pennies on the dollar and blah, blah, blah. Well, in 2018, there was an earthquake, an actual earthquake that hit the region, the Ring of Fire, they call it. And for whatever odd reason, after the earthquake, I decided I want a story set there. I want this story that's been tickling the back of my mind to be set in this magical place that I didn't know it was magical because I hadn't been there other than what people were telling me. And I want it to be a story of growth, redemption, someone being lost and kind of finding themselves in what is explained to me as this beautiful island. So guess what? Because of this story wanting to be told so bad through me, I booked a flight, 10 days, and spent some time in Bali by myself back in 2018, just kind of trying to find this story, trying to find the essence. Why Bali? Why was that playing with me so much? And then there was another part of the story. Another thing that had been tickling in my mind is, you all probably know it already if you followed my Pinterest mood board for Bali Blue. The muse for the main character, Kendrick, is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So now, let me just say this. I hope I'm not breaking any laws or anything. I don't know. But anyways, ever since he did that little cameo, and Why Did I Get Married? I think part 2. I think that's the name of it. Why Did I Get Married? The second one, where Janet Jackson was leaving the institution that she teaches at, and she runs into The Rock like within the last few minutes of the movie. And they made it seem like he was going to be maybe her love interest. And it made me wonder, has he ever done a romance movie? Has he ever been like romantically involved with someone in a movie? And honestly, I cannot remember. And I want to see it. I'm here for it. So all these years I've been waiting. And guess what? No romantic movie with The Rock, the Dwayne The Rock Johnson in it. So guess what? I said I'm gonna write the story. Again, I'm not writing it. The story is writing me. So, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is my muse with his fine self for the character in this book. And that's all I'm going to give y'all for right now. But anyways, it's coming together. Many of you are asking me, when is this book going to come out? Y'all bear with me. Like I said, you are on this journey of being a new author with me. Not only am I a new author, but I feel like I'm taking leaps and bounds, like making this complex, and I love it. I love the process of it, but being able to travel so that I can tell this story as authentically as I possibly can. And I love doing this kind of work. I love the story. I love the characters. They are giving me everything I need them to give me. And then, of course, Bali. I understand why this story had to be set in Bali once I got there. Y'all, when I say the waters there, I'm beach bougie, I'm gonna tell you that up front. I'm very beach bougie. Myrtle Beach just ain't gonna do it for me. Bali might be the place of the best beaches I have ever seen in my life. That water, I'm actually gonna post a picture of me in that jello blue water. When you see that water, you're going to kind of know why I named this book Bali Blue. But anyways, I'm excited to share all of this with you. And for those of you who keep asking, when is the book going to come out? I cannot make any promises, but it will be soon. Just know, again, I got to go through the process. The book is almost written fully. It's in editing. Beta readers are reading it right now, and I'm taking all the information and just making sure that it is as good as it possibly can. Once again, I'm excited for y'all to read this book. I'm excited to put it out. I'm more excited to see it on Amazon or in the bookstore, all of that. So it's coming. And I thank you all for joining me. Anyways, I'll be back with more information as I get ready to roll this book out. And I'll keep you all updated. Follow me. Make sure you like, follow Share to Race on Instagram. You might want to follow me on YouTube as well, on Facebook, all of them, Share to Race. Follow me if you just want to know what's going on, if you want to interact. I like to talk, so let's do it. All right, talk to you all later.